You guys, welcome back to the channel. Nonso here, and in the last two videos we made on this particular portfolio, in Framer, we built out the structure of the page, the hero section, the project section, the brief about section, and also the contact/footer. And then in the part two of the video, we worked on the navigation. So yeah, this is just part three where I'm going to handle animation. So if you look at this side closely, you'd see that if I reload this up like this, nothing is happening. So it's just plain. We need to bring some life to this side so that it looks more interactive and more fun to use rather. So one thing we can just do is, so this is the design. All we have to do is focus on the desktop, like I've always said. Anything you apply to the desktop will work for mobile and tablet. So now, one thing I want to do for this animation is, I want, as the site loads up, the first thing that shows up is this hero text over here. Then the second thing that shows up is this description here. And then these links together in this stack can show up next. And then the last thing I want to show up is the image. So I want the image to come from the right a little. So how do I do that? I'm going to use Framer effects. Very easy to use. All you need to do is just apply it here and copy and paste the same effects here, and then change the delay. That's when each animation appears. So I'll just show you how to do just that just now. So I'll select this hero text like this, click on effects over here, and then appear effects, because that's the first thing you see when you open the site, this hero section, right? So if you're animating for maybe this project section, then you can do scroll effects, because while you scroll into that project section, you want the animation to happen. So you would use appear for the elements in the hero section. So select the text and then come over here, select effect and select appear, right? So trigger on appear. So what trigger means is what should trigger this animation, right? So on appear, which is what we want. So as you can see, here's on scroll, layer in view, section in view. But what we need now is on appear. And then presets. Right now it's set to feed in, but we don't want feeding. We want it to come from down and go up just a little bit, right? With a little feed, opacity and opacity 0. Then while it goes up to the normal position, opacity should now be 100. So I'll demonstrate that right now. So because I don't want this preset, I'll click on enter effects here. So as you can see, by default, they've made the opacity 0, right? So what this means is it will be 0 when I open the site, and after the time specified here, after 0.4 seconds, to be 100% opacity. But I'll come back to this. So right now, what we want is we want to move the hero section down. So if you look at here, you'll see that you can't see the text, right? So we want to move the text down. Yeah, so because this is what I want to apply the animation to, you can't really see it right now. If I make this 1, you'll be able to see it, right? So one thing I want to do is I want to bring down the, Y property, right? Because I said I wanted to come from down to up, so I'll change the Y property to like maybe 15. So as you can see, the text is going down. Let's make it 30. 30 is fine. So I want it to come from down to up. Let's preview this so yeah, you see what I'm talking about. Don't know if you saw that. So look at, it's animating, but this is very rough. This is not what we want. So one thing we can do is select the text, click on this effect again, click on here to access the properties. So now we want to make the opacity 0 so that it comes from 0 to 100 and from 30 down, 30 pixels down in the y-axis to normal position. So right now I've changed the opacity to 0. So if I preview this again, you see that it's reducing. Why you're not able to see because of the timing. So let me just increase the time so that you can see what's happening in real time. So select this under transition or click on transition, and then the time 0.4 seconds. Let's just increase this to like 1 second so you can see what's happening. Did you see that? Now this is actually more smoother, right? So this is what it looks like right now. I think I still want to add a transition. So come back to effects, go to transition. So I think I don't like this praying transition. It's not bad, but you can try different things, right? There is ease. This should be familiar for people that use Figma. There is physics, right? So all these are just terms, but it's not very complicated as it sounds. So right now I want to use the ease property. I want it to come in fast and then slow down in between and then end fast as well, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to show you. So this is what the ease property looks like. And if you look at the preview, are you seeing what's happening? So I'll just play with this curve a little, like this, like this. Did you see that? But I think this is too much. I'll just reduce it a little. Okay, I think this is okay. The time is 1 second. I like that. I prefer that. And the delay is 0 seconds. So this is what we want for this particular layer, right? As you can see, it looks very smooth. Now we want to apply that same effect to this text and then to this wrapper, wrapping all these buttons together. So we'll just select it. You can come over here, right click and copy, right? Copy the effect. Come over here as well, under effects tab here, right click and paste. Now you've pasted that same effect from the hero section, from the hero text to the description as well. So if I preview this, see that they're happening at the same time, but that's not what I said I wanted to achieve. I want this one to appear first, that's the hero text, and then the description to appear subsequently. So one thing I can just do is just delete, right? So this one has 0 seconds delay. Now, I want this one to have 0 maybe 2 seconds delay so that this one will happen before this one. So let's select this description here, select appear, and under effect, select it and transition, select as well. So right now, delay is 0 seconds as well. So we want to increase that to maybe 0.2 so that the hero text will appear before the description. So let's just see how that looks. As you can see, it works fine, right? Something is happening here. As you can see, the text is clipping. I don't want that to happen. And the reason for this is because the wrapper wrapping this hero text and description, if you go to the layers panel, you can see text wrapper. Everything is wrapped in a stack, right? So we want to change the overflow property from hidden, which is what it is right now, to visible so that we can see the animation happen in full, not clipping. So for context, let me show you again. So as you can see, the hero description is clipping out, and that's not what we want. So select the wrapper, wrapping the hero text and the hero description. Come to the right property panel here, and under overflow, as you can see, it's set to hidden. So we're going to change this to visible. Now what this is going to do is to show that animation well, properly. Did you see that? Now everything works just fine. And now we want to apply that same effect to this wrapper here, right? And one thing I want you to know is that the more effects you add, the slower the site. Not the slower the site per se, but you have to just be, you have to apply this effect minimally. Don't overdo it, don't overcomplicate things. I like to apply effects to just elements in the hero section because that's the first impression, right? That's the first thing users see when they come to your site. So I like to apply it there and maybe sparsely across the sections in the page, not too much. So my advice to you would just be to keep it minimal, apply it to where it's necessary, and you'll be fine. So I'll select this, copy the effects here, and select this wrapper. As you can see, buttons here, wrapping everything together. I'm going to come over here under effects, right click and paste. Now I've pasted that same effect on these 3 layers on the right and on the left side of the hero section. Now remember, I want delay, so I don't want, see, these two are showing at the same time. So I'm going to apply a delay to the third layer. So I'll come over here, select this preset, select transition. And as you can see, this is 0.2 delay. So this one is going to be 0.4. Yeah, so this one would happen instantly because there's 0 seconds delay. This one will happen after 0.2 seconds. Then this one will happen after 0.4 seconds, right? So there's that beautiful animation. So I'm just going to show you. As you can see, it's happening very gracefully and very smoothly. So this is how easy it is to add effects in Framer. Very, very, very simple activity. So as you can see, these buttons are clipping again, and that's because the wrapper now wrapping these three elements over here. It's the overflow property set to hidden again. So remember these two, this hero text and description, they are wrapped in one stack. Then the hero text, description, and these buttons are wrapped in another stack. Now they start wrapping everything on this side. It's set to hidden. So we're going to change that so that the animation can happen the way we want. So select the stack wrapping everything on the left content, right? Left part of the hero section. Come over here and change the overflow from hidden to visible. So that when we preview again, as you can see, everything is working the way we planned. Right now, for this image here, I want to do something different so that you can see that you can just play with this whole thing, right? So instead of it coming from down like the elements or the layers on the left part of the hero section, I want it to come from the side, right? So it's going to come from the right side and just, animate in. So remember, we're going to apply delay because I want this to happen after all the elements on the left content have entered in. So I'm going to select the image here and we're going to come back here. I don't want to copy. Normally what we can do is copy the effect and then change some things here, but I'll do this from scratch so you better understand how this animation thing works. So while this is selected, come over here, select effect, appear again, because this is the hero section and this first thing user sees when they load the site up. So select this animation and we don't want all of these presets. I mean, there are presets you can apply here, scaling bottom, but these are not smooth the way we want. It doesn't have all the native properties that we want, right? So we're not going to use this, but you can explore this as well. So select it like this. Now we want opacity to be 0 from the beginning, right? Obviously we want that, but let's make this 1. So 1 is like the equivalent of 100% sometimes in Framer. So just note that. So now, remember we did move the Y position of these elements on the side because we made it come from down. So Y axis is like from top to down and X axis is like from left to right or right to left, right? So we want this to come from the right side. So we're going to adjust the X property. So look at here, look at the offset time property here. Instead of adjusting Y, which makes it go up or go down, we're not going to do that. We're going to adjust the X. So X is going to make it go left or go right, right? So as you can see, we're adjusting the X property in real time. So we want to make this minus 30. Let's keep things uniform. 30, not minus 30, just 30. So this is what the offset looks like now. And we want to change the transition. So I'm going to use ease as well, and the time is going to be 1 second so that it fits everything here, right? So ease, everything looks good, then change the time to 1 second like this. But the only problem right now is we want uniform Bezier. So Bezier now is basically these values here. It is this value that inform the curve. So if I increase this now, see that these values are changing, right? So we want the same Bezier curve that was applied to all of these ones to this guy. So one thing we can do is just select this element. Automatically you've appeared on the Bezier, but don't worry, I don't want to complicate things. So I want to copy the Bezier of this hero text. I'll select it, come to this appear property here, and under the enter property, select it, transition, select it, and then This is the Bezier. So we're going to just select it and copy, Control C, or Command C if you're using a Mac, right? Now I've copied that value. So I'm going to select the image that I'm animating, select the effect here, select the enter, select transition. Now I'm going to paste that value over here because I copied it. So I'll select and then paste, Control V or Command V. As you can see, I've applied the exact same curve that I applied to these elements here, to this guy. Very simple, right? So go back. Opacity is 1 right now, so there will not be any opacity change if I animate this. So one thing I can do is just reduce this to 0, so that it's going to go from 0 to 100%, and it's going to go from 30 pixels in the y-axis to the normal position at the same time. So everything looks very smooth. Now let's preview what we've just done. Now you see that everything is working just fine. However, there's a few problems. This hero image is happening instantaneous. I remember I said I wanted everything here to animate in first before this image appears. So if you remember, I added for this button, this stack here, wrapping these buttons, I added a 0.4 delay. So by logic, I should add a bigger delay to this image, probably 0.5 or 0.6, right? Depending on what I want. Another thing I want to show you guys is that the image is clipping from the side. So as you can see, if you pay attention to this part, the image is clipping, and that's because the container wrapping all of this content on the left, this content on the right, the overflow is set to hidden. Now I want to explain the overflow for you, but so normally you want your overflow to always be hidden, right? Because in any event where you have an element that is probably protruding out of the section, you now start seeing horizontal scroll, which is not what you want at all. So in all cases, the overflow of any stack wrapping element should be hidden. But there are instances where you'd want to do some animations, like maybe sticky animations. For those to work, you have to remove overflow, but then make sure everything is wrapped well and there's nothing shooting out of that particular wrapper, right? Because if something is shooting out, then you'd have weird horizontal scroll, which is not what we want, right? Exactly. So go back. Now I'm going to add a bigger delete to this guy, and I'm going to make this container, as you can see here, that's wrapping this image and this text. I'm going to make it visible, the overflow. So I'll select this image, come over to appear over here, select enter, transition, and now the delay is 0 here. So it's happening at the same time the hero text is happening. That's this hi, I'm Robert Garcia. We don't want that. We're going to increase this to 0.6, right? Because this one is 0. This one here is 0.2, 0.4 delay, and then 0.6, right? So that's what we want. And then we'll select this container and then change the overflow from hidden to visible. I think everything should work as it should. When I preview this, as you can see, all of this animates in before this animates in. So let's see that again. So you can pretty much play with these animations, right? You can play with them. You can make them come from up, make them come from left or right. It just depends on, what you want to achieve and all. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, previously we had a very flat homepage, hero section to be precise, but now we have an animated hero section. So this is what we want. So you can go ahead and take it a step further, animate this as well. So let's just do that so that you can see in real time what that would look like. So I'm going to make this hero section 100% view height so that we don't get to see this, right? So what's happening right now is this is the hero section, right? So we want a situation where whenever we preview this website, the first thing we see is the entirety of the hero section covering the whole viewport, left and right. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So right now, we can see this text from the second section. That's the project section. It's not what we want. So we're going to go back, select the hero section here, as you can see, and then change the height. Instead of fit, change it to viewport. So this is 100% view. So no matter where you're viewing this site, right? No matter what platform you're using, whenever you open the site, the entirety of the hero second is what you're going to see. You will not see anything extra, right? So let's preview. So as you can see, previously we could see the text in the previous section, in the next section, but now we can't because the hero section is taking up the entire space in the viewport. Beautiful. Now, so let's add some animations to this text so that we can see what to use, when to use them. So for this now, use scroll animation because we want to animate this as we scroll, right? So select this first one, come over here, select effect, select scroll animation, right? Now layer in view. So how do you want to animate this? Do you want to animate it when this particular layer shows up, right? Yes, that's what we want, right? So layer in view is what's going to be left as default, but you can animate on appear, on scroll, section in view. Section in view basically is if you set a scroll section here on this section, you can animate this text based on the appearance of the section itself, not the layer, right? So that's what section in view means. I'm going to select this. I'm going to come over here, come down to scroll effect. So as you can see, layer in view, that's what we want. Now, start. So when do you want the animation to happen? You get? Is it when the layer reaches the top of the viewport, or when it reaches the middle of the viewport, or when it is just entering the viewport, right? What do you want it to be? So for this tutorial, I want it to be at the middle, right? And then replay means if I scroll past that layer and I scroll back to that layer, it's going to happen. But we don't want that because that tends to affect performance of the site. So I'm going to say no, right? And feeding, presets feeding, we don't want the presets. Yeah, presets are just boring. They are not very good. But if you're getting started, you can explore these properties over here. So we don't want that. Enter and next adjustment. How does it enter and how does it leave? We don't want it to leave, right? So we're going to unlock this and cancel. And now we're going to just work on the enter effect, right? So we're going to select this. Now we want to do something similar to what we did here. So we're going to make the opacity 0. Of course, the scale is just the size. So you can animate pretty much anything about this element. You can rotate it into view. You can scale it from small to big. You can make it come from down to top, from top to down, from left to right, right to left. Pretty much anything you want to do, right? But for this one, I want to just make the text come from down to up, like what we did for the text in the hero section. We're going to change the Y position from sorry, I'm working on the skew. So we're going to use the offset instead. We're going to change it to something like 20. Nice. And we're going to add a transition. So instead of time, we're going to use ease. We can explore whatever you want to use for this. And this is what it looks like. Let's change the animation time to maybe something like 8 seconds. Nice. There's no delay, of course, because we don't want the delay right now. So now if I preview this like this and I scroll, do you see that? And if I scroll back, it won't happen again. So I set it to not repeat, right? So if I have to refresh it to be able to see the animation again. So if I scroll, it happens. If I scroll back, it doesn't happen because the animation is set to no repeat. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. You can go on and animate all these things one by one, animate them from beginning to the end, but there's a compromise. Your site will become slower, right? So you can go on, animate this, animate this, animate this, animate anything you want to animate. But make sure you're using the right property, section in view, animate, layer in view, on scroll, appear, all of these things play important role. Yeah, normally for layers in the hero section, you want to use appear. Yeah, but other sections, you want to use scroll animations, you want to use layer in view or section in view. When you start to learn and master Figma, you start to see use cases for these different properties, right? Where you'd rather use section in view as opposed to layer in view. So, but for now, this is just a brief, intro into animation in Figma. I'm going to publish this and previewed so you can see how it works in the web, right? So this is published. So I'm just going to click this link to preview it. So as you can see, it works. Let's refresh this again. Beautiful. This is live on the internet. So this is part 3 done. On the part 4, I'll talk about linking things, creating links and all of that stuff, and components sort of. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.